Hey guys, this is Andrew with Figure Fandom Review. So today we're going to be reviewing the SH Figuarts Suguru Geto Tokyo Jujutsu High School version. Now, this is a figure that I really wasn't that excited for. I pre-ordered it because, for the most part, I pre-order everything that they throw at me. But I wasn't too excited about it, and I am really happy to have been wrong. This is actually a really fun figure. Now, in terms of accessories, being honest, it doesn't really offer a whole lot, but it's just a fun figure to pose. And kind of like, you know, if you've seen my Gojo review, it really is fun as a figure. But what I like about it is it just poses so well with Gojo. It almost is like you really kind of want to have both of them. So you want the Gojo figure, but then you're also going to want to get the Geto figure as well. It's just something about the two of them together. It's just really a cool little, you know, I guess combination. But before we get any further, let's just go ahead, take him off the stand, and let's get into it. Alright guys, now that he's off the stand, let's just jump into the aesthetics. So this figure is very much like the Gojo figure in the sense that the first things you'll notice on it is the molding. They did really good with the mold job on this figure. Obviously they don't use cloth goods that much with SH Figuarts. Seems like that's going to be changing soon, hopefully. But they do a lot of mold work on the actual, you know, pants and outfits or whatever to give the appearance of like creases and whatnot. So same with this, they did a really good job. It looks really good. They have the creases throughout his baggy pants, which is one of the key differences between Geto and Gojo, is the baggy pants he wears. Almost like, it reminds me of the SH Figuarts Super Boo. So very similar kind of like, you know, idea and design. So looks really good throughout. The only problem that I have with it is when you go to the back of the pants, you get this weird like you know, joint here that just doesn't look like it was designed very well. It looks like it was just like, the front of the pants looks good, so who cares about the back? It just looks weird. It doesn't look like it flows very well. I wish they would find a different way to try to, you know, do something with that joint. So hopefully in the future they fix that. However, the rest of it, again, looks pretty good. So for this figure, speaking of looks, there is no shading at all on this figure. The Gojo figure barely had any. It had like a splotch on the back of the hair, but as far as I can tell, there is no shading at all on the figure. So if you are a big fan of shading, or it's something that, you know, you're really passionate about and you're like, man, if it doesn't have shading, I don't want it because it doesn't look that good. Well, you know, spoiler alert, this is probably not going to be the figure you like. However, for me, I still think it looks really good, and the faceplates are amazing. They did such a good job, super clean. It looks fantastic, and to be honest, aesthetics are one thing. I think this figure really shines, and it's kind of weird to say it like this, but I think this figure shines more so when you have both it and the Gojo figure. I think they just kind of work well together. It's one of those figures that on its own, it's not that great, but when you have Gojo and Geto together, they just kind of pop on your shelf. They look really good together. And I know it sounds crazy to say that, but if you get both of them, you'll understand what I'm saying. But where this figure shines to me the most is in its articulation. And speaking of, let's jump into that right now. So jumping into the articulation, we're going to do what we usually do and start from top and working our way down. So let's just bring him in a little bit. So for head articulation, he has very, very good head articulation. Although I'll be honest, my figure's head, when turning like that, is a little stiff. So it's pretty stiff, but it does work. So just a heads up, be mindful, it is going to be a little tight feeling, or it could be. Now for head tilt, however, though, I mean, he has very, very good head tilt, like exceptional. So you can go to either side, no problem. Looking down is also not a problem at all. He has really good range, as well as looking back or up is very good as well. So, I mean, they did a great job just designing the whole head and neck area of this figure. Now, for arms, his arms can go up quite a bit, so he looks like he's trying to fly away. He has really good range on his arms, which is awesome. Now, speaking of his arms, and he has his butterfly joint, just be mindful when posing the butterfly joint. If you try to push it too hard, what's going to happen is you could pop out the arms out of there. Now, if that does happen, don't freak out. You can simply peg it back in, but the peg hole is actually at the bottom. It's not, across, it's downward. So if you pop out his arm, don't freak out. You just got to look downward and peg him back in, okay? It will leave a little gap when you force the butterfly joints as far as you can. You'll get a small gapping there, but nothing major. Now, moving on to his other parts of his arm, he doesn't have a bicep swivel. Like the Gojo figure, he has a shoulder swivel. So it swivels at the shoulder up there, all right? Now, he does have an amazing double jointed elbow. Works like, this is perfect. It doesn't get any better than that, and that's like serious. So that's amazing. And for the hands, he has his hands on a wrist peg, and it works very good. It gives you good range and everything, completely. So they did a great job just, on the arms alone. So let's moving on to the, upper abdominal cut. So he does have that, and he can bend it down. It's not as good as Gojo's going forward, but it still works a decent amount. So he does bend down, and then moving back, though, I think it's better than Gojo's. Moving back is amazing. So he can get up out of bed yawning, like, ugh! He has that amazing stretch there. Now, he also has lower articulation in the bottom of his waist, and he can move side to side with that, no problem, as well as he can just turn. So you've got great articulation with this character so far, from the head down to the waist. Perfect. But then, to tell you, you'd be like, but wait, there's more. Yes, in this case, there is more. So moving to his legs now, he can pretty much do the splits, which is pretty cool for a guy that has these big old, plastic legs. For it to go out all that far, it's amazing. Really good range. So that's pretty awesome. He can kick forward actually a fair amount as well. Now, kicking back, he has a problem that the 3.0 Dragon Ball Z figures have, and that's because he has this new butt diaper thing that they've been doing. So when you try to move the legs back to like a back kick, it kicks out to the side because this just gets in the way. So that is, a situation. He's going to be kicking and looking like that, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is. Now, for his thighs, he also does have a thigh cut, so no problems moving that. And for knees, he has an amazing double jointed knee. So it works really good considering the bagginess of his pants. Now, usually when you have a knee like this, what'll happen is you'll get like really big gapping usually here in this area, but they did a great job of just making it look really good, and it doesn't look like there's any gapping that's like really, major in those areas. Now, moving back to his feet now, for his ankles, he has really good ankles. So he has an ankle rocker, so you can get those, martial art blade kicks, no problem. And it's loose enough to move around and sturdy enough that you can actually balance him on one ankle completely, and he holds up. Now, for the ankle, the range is really, really good. So you can kick that back, no problem. And then you can move that forward a fair amount. And the good thing is, it looks really natural still. It looks good. For his toe hinge, he has this, a toe hinge, and it looks really good. It doesn't look too crazy or weird or out of place. It just looks overall really good. As well as for the feet size, I actually like the size of the feet. I think that they're, sorry, I'm losing focus here. I think that they're proportionally really, really good. So they look very good and look like the size of a person, his height, in comparison, it should look like. So it's not too small, not too big. But yeah, that's pretty much it for articulation. And again, that's where these figures seem to shine to me. They are really fun to pose around, and they stand up pretty much in almost any poses you could put them in. So it's really fun to mess with. Anyways, let's move right into the accessories, okay? So for accessories, we have a smiling face. We also have a laughing face. We have a serious face. We have a serious getting ready to fight face. We have what looks to be like a kung fu style hand. We have two relaxed hands. We have a flared out fingers right hand. We have two like almost snake style martial arts hands. We have a cell phone in hand. And lastly, we get a hands in pockets for both right and left hands. Alright guys, there you have it, SH Figuarts Suguru Geto. And man, I didn't expect to like this figure as much as I did. I just kind of pre-ordered it on a whim. I was like, you know what, I may as well just pre-order that one too since I'm getting Gojo. I didn't think I was going to enjoy this figure so much. And to be fair, they kind of are the Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 of the Jujutsu Kaisen world. And what I mean by that is, you don't need to get both. However, they do work extremely well as a pair, and you kind of want them both to pair together. And Tamashii was very smart about how they did this. They made it so that a lot of their expressions and everything work very well to the whole brotherish kind of dynamic they have. So together they just really awesome, and they both kind of light up you know, like a shelf, or you know, like kind of like a diorama if you have one set up. So really great figure, ton of fun. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10, same as the Gojo figure, simply because I love everything about the figure. The only things I'll knock it on is that there is no shading, which they could have given us. It's not that expensive to shade a figure, at least I don't believe it is. And they didn't give us an effect piece, which would have just been awesome. Because let's be honest, Jujutsu Kaisen is a world full of sorcerers who use curse techniques to, you know, do battle. The least you could have given us is one of those little squid things he summons or something, so he has, like, you know, some sort of like attack. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. It's a really strong release. So that's it for today, guys. If you are new to my channel, I want to say, you know, thank you, welcome. I appreciate you clicking on the link. I appreciate, you know, all the feedback that I have. We're up to 60 subscribers. I know I'm still a small fish in a big pond, but I appreciate all 60 of you, and I appreciate everybody who takes the time to click on my link and watch the video. Your support means a lot. So thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. But before I go, as usual, please be safe. And as always, guys, keep collecting. I'll see you guys later.